Hey, everybody. Welcome to tonight's incredible get-together. This is the School of Public Health, Department of Kinesiology Community Forum. My name is Boris Lushniak. I'm the Dean of the School of Public Health. And I'm actually starting vacation, which is why I'm on a sailboat in the North Beach area of Maryland. And just got here to a boat that I happen to own with two friends of mine, actually. And we're heading off for a little bit of a voyage, 5-day trip on Chesapeake Bay tomorrow. But amongst this sort of interesting background, interesting beauty that's here, I also want to introduce you to the beauty of the Department of Kinesiology. There's been a lot going on, and this forum really is for you, right? People who are friends of, alums of, associated with the Department of Kinesiology at the School of Public Health, University of Maryland, College Park, or interested parties in what's going on within that department. Before we sort of start off, I do want to send a welcome out to Brad Hatfield. He's the immediate past chair. Brad has served for over 12 years as the former chair of the Department of Kinesiology. And I'll shortly introduce you to the new chair, Dr. Michael Brown, who is going to be running parts of this forum shortly. Also, we have faculty members, leadership of the Department of Kinesiology on board. Welcome to everybody as well. And to you, our guests, a special welcome for taking time out of your busy day to get caught up on what's going on within the Department of Kinesiology. Before we get to the department, I do, however, want to just spend a minute or two telling you about some of the strategic commitments, the strategic plan that's coming out of the University of Maryland as a whole. And so we're going to follow this agenda. Right now is my dean's welcome and the strategic plan intro. We'll then hear from Dr. Michael Brown, welcome from the chair. We'll talk about research in various aspects within the Department of Kinesiology. There's also going to be a section on education, community partnership, and we'll talk about and divide you up into breakout rooms, right, to be able to discuss many of these entities. So we get sort of more of a personal connection with each one of you. And then we'll come back after the breakout rooms to hear from Michael Brown once again, and also from Jennifer Schwartz, who is the Assistant Dean for Development and a key player also in terms of organizing this event here tonight. Next slide, please. So when we look at what's going on at the University of Maryland, this is relatively hot off the presses, that is in the last several months, is what's really now focusing us on the next, I would say, 10 years of the existence of the University of Maryland in College Park. Under a new president, President Darrell Pines, under a new provost, Jennifer, boy, I'm blanking on the name here, Jennifer Rice, who's the former dean of the School of Education. Darrell is the former dean of the School of Engineering. So we have Darrell Pines in that position, former dean, Jennifer Rice in the position of provost as a former dean. So these are people well known to us. But in the midst of all this are major changes that are going on. And specifically, I just want to spend a minute or two talking about this idea of us moving ahead fearlessly forward. That's sort of the middle of this whole strategic commitment that we're giving to you right now. We're also including in the chat box a connection to all this, but in essence, it breaks down into four major facets. Facet number one is we reimagine learning, right? The whole concept of us not only being a university of a 21st century style, but also a school of public health, and the department mandates the fact that at the end of the day, our major mission is the education of tomorrow's kinesiology leaders and tomorrow's public health leaders. We need to focus on this concept of what is 21st century learning all about, and really an emphasis of us looking at didactics, looking at what's going on, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom. So much of learning takes place within the internships, externships, those outside classroom activities that are so critical to the focus of our students to achieve their academic goals. The second focus really is on the strategic plan, talking about taking on humanity's grand challenges. And I think this focus in particular is critical, especially as we're pulling out of these last 2.5+ years now of not only being in the pandemic of an infectious disease, the COVID-19 pandemic, but at the same time, taking into account the syndemics that are all around us. Let's include here the evils of racism. Let's include here the social and environmental injustices that occur out there. Let's include here political upheaval. Let's include here climate change and some of the manifestations of that in our society, as well as in the kinesiology aspect is the whole idea of physical fitness and lack thereof as a public health grand challenge. So we're really focused right now on this concept of how can we change the world, beginning with the teaching of our students, beginning with this focus on humanity's grand challenges. We as an academic institution need to focus on bettering our lives in general. Also, a key component of all this is investing in people and communities. This includes not only our faculty, staff, and students at the school, but it's the community around us. What are we doing about and connectivity with, for example, our neighborhood, Prince George's County, the city of College Park? What are we doing about the connectivity with other sides of or other parts of the state of Maryland, of our region, of our whole nation, and of the world? The importance of global investment here in people and our global communities. And then finally is that last sort of aspirational part of our strategic commitment is to partner to advance the public good. And once again, it's that connectivity with us not just being, in the old days, the concept of an ivory tower just out there doing its thing, but it's the interplay that ultimately we are focused on the good of changes in our society and the good of our own community. So this is critical that, I just wanted to do this brief intro to this strategic commitment that's going on. We will at the School of Public Health be focused on, in the immediate future, redoing our own strategic plan for the next 5 years and focusing on this as sort of the template, if you will, for changes of what we should be doing as a School of Public Health, but also down to the departmental levels as well. And at this point, and I'm not sure if we have a slide on this, but I'd like to introduce really our main man here for tonight. And that's somebody who I've gotten to know over the last year as we went through a selection process, a rigorous selection process, and the difficult choice, in terms of making sure that we found a person that was a highly regarded academic, a person who can fit in well into our system, but also a person who can do incredible things. And I saw that in Michael Brown. Michael Brown joined us this past January. The reason I mentioned that a year ago is the time that we were heavily recruiting him. When I made that final choice, he was the man. He was the guy I really wanted to bring in. And he is already one of us. He, in fact, got his Ph.D. at the University of Maryland within our department. He, in fact, was on faculty previously in Department of Kinesiology at the University of Maryland, went on and left us ultimately, did incredible things at Auburn University, and now we've reeled him back. We actually had a great outdoor meeting a few days ago, and as we were walking along, I told Michael how much I appreciated not only the transitions that he's gone through. His family is moving here now in this next few months. He's built a home in the Shady Grove area, just outside of Rockville. So he is settling in. But we all know those transitions sometimes are very difficult. And yet in these first 6 months, I have seen excellent leadership, excellent intelligence, excellent analysis, and a well-meaning, very nice person. And with that, as the sun is setting, the glow is out here at the marina. I'd like to pass the baton now to Dr. Michael Brown, the incoming and current leader of the Department of Kinesiology. Michael, off to you.
Thank you, Dean Lushniak. I can walk out of the door now.
Drop that mic.
I can't beat that introduction. Hey, everyone, just welcome. I'm honored to welcome all of you to the Kinesiology Community Forum. It's very exciting to be able to engage with everyone. So I'm so happy that you took the time to join us this evening. So the Dean was just talking about the strategic plan and some of the milestones there. And so I just want to build off that just a tad, because people have been asking me what are my values. I got asked about that during the interview process as well. So the university strategic plan is kind of rooted in the principles of excellence, diversity, equity, and inclusion, impact, innovation, collaboration, and then, like the dean says, service to humanity. So my particular values are definitely excellence is right there at the top. Diversity, equity, inclusion is there, and impact. So my goal, my mission is to increase the department's impact and reach. And I'm talking about across campus and across communities. And I have 3 or 4 examples that are happening now that will increase our impact, our reach in an excellent way. The first one is we are moving towards rapidly a fully online master's in public health specializing in physical activity. That is being fully developed and it's well down the tracks at this point. What we are doing is we're designing a program that's going to reach a lot of people. So that's kind of the reach. We're going to reach way out there and we're going to get people into this program from everywhere. The other thing that's really exciting is we're working with athletics and the School of Business right now, developing, ongoing now, having conversations now. An analytics and sports management program is being developed right now. So that's going to expand our reach and our impact on campus. And then the next 2 I'm going to mention briefly, but I'll talk about them a little bit more later. We are working now too on partnering with PG County and DC to develop a Girls on the Run program. More on that later. So now that's the community, that's PG County and DC. And then finally, the last one, we're working on implementing an American College of Sports Medicine's exercises medicine on campus. More of that later as well. So that's kind of what I'm about and where I see us going, expanding our impact and broadening our impact in an excellent way. So let me change gears here before we get to the research impact. Last spring, during spring break, one of our kinesiology students passed away tragically during spring break. She was an outstanding model student. And so her name is Kaylee Milor, and she touched many of our faculty here. And so I would like to have a moment of silence to honor her and her family. Thank you. Okay, that always gets me emotional. Let's move on. Impact of research. This is where a few people are going to talk about some of the research in the areas. And then we have another exciting program that we'll talk about as well. So we'll start first with the research area, physical cultural studies. And Dr. Shannon Jett is going to talk about things that are happening in her area.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. So yeah, my name is Shannon Jetty, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Kinesiology, and I'm in the area physical cultural studies. And in physical cultural studies, well, first of all, what is meant by that term is just a myriad form of movement, sport, exercise, fitness, recreation, dance, really any movement related practices. And our goal is to intervene into sites of physical cultural injustice and create a more equal and healthier society. And so our work is very empirically and theoretically driven, and we really seek to locate and analyze the various forms of physical culture within the broader contexts in which they're situated. We work from the premise that an equal society is a healthy society. And so we're looking at the role of physical culture in reproducing as well as mitigating inequalities and hierarchies. And just some examples of some research being done out of our unit. We have individuals doing work on sport policy and social justice. So for example, examining international sport organization policies around sex testing and sex segregation in sport, with a real focus on how existing policies reproduce gender and racial hierarchies. We also have faculty and students doing research around the built environment, physical activity and health. So for instance, studies looking at the impact of transportation policy and design on physical activity, long-term health, and community belonging. One other example I'll give is research around sport for urban development. So we have faculty using collaborative participant methods to intervene into sites of urban inequity and oppression, and looking at how we can use sport to connect with underserved communities. So that's just a few examples. We tend to be also more qualitative research driven, but not entirely. And so, yeah, I'll turn it over to the next speaker.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Next speaker will be, I'm sorry. I hear there's some feedback going on here. Can you hear me okay? Okay. The next person to speak on research will be Dr. Sushant Ranadive. He is in the research area, exercise physiology.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Hi, so as Dr. Brown said, I'm Sushant Ranadive. I'm an assistant professor within the exercise physiology area. In my lab, so I'll break it up into two parts. I'll kind of give you a quick summary of what the lab does, and then what we do as a group, as XPhys itself. And so my lab is focused on two parts, and the research vision of the lab is looking at how to better understand blood pressure regulation in women, and then look at what are the potential mechanisms that lead to higher prevalence and incidence of high blood pressure in African-American individuals. Now, if you think about these, both of these are critical public health issues because women are generally protected when they are early on in age. As they pass menopause, there's higher prevalence of cardiovascular disease. Add to this the factor that these disparities are more pronounced in underrepresented populations, especially African-American individuals. And that is due to a multitude of factors, may it be socioeconomic status, education, access to healthcare, and amongst a lot of these. So when we think of these biological or physiological factors, and we add a social factor on top of it, we tend to see that the research becomes a lot more public health driven. And so apart from my lab, we have a brilliant team of scientists within XPhys. Dr. Pryor is on the line, Dr. Glancy, Dr. Hagberg, who helped develop this research within the XPhys and department in general. And they are an amazing group of friends, colleagues within XPhys. And why we are unique as an XPhys group is we have this setup of bed to bench, meaning that my research is predominantly clinical with live humans, if you may. We do not sacrifice any of the humans during my research. But when we do this research, we can then get down to a lot more mechanistic components with Dr. Pryor's lab, with samples and blood and tissues that we could get. If we want to take a deeper dive more than that, Dr. Glancy is ever ready to develop these mechanistic pathways with an animal model, right? And so the impact of our research as a team and the effort is evident, and I like to boast at this point, is evident not only from an individual funding standpoint, but also from a collaborative standpoint where we are sought out as a group to work with other partners within the department, get some NIH funding. Other departments within the university, so College of Engineering has sought our expertise. And so the ex-phys group in that sense is very unique within the university and also across the country. Like not very many campuses look at these research questions pertaining to public health from a social determinant standpoint that we have started to look at for the future research. And so with that, I'll let Dr. Hatfield carry on with the cognitive part.
Thanks, Sush. Next is Dr. Bradley Hatfield from the Cognitive Motor Science Research Area.
All right, thank you, Michael, and good evening, everyone. I spent the last 12 years in the role of chair of the department, but the research hat that I wear is in the realm of cognitive motor neuroscience, and this is an area that's an essential element, foundational for kinesiology, because it's really looking at the quality of movement, is looking at factors that influence us to move and the consequences, particularly the health consequences. And it's a group of 8 individuals, and the expertise ranges from biomechanics to the motor behavior area, which is the learning of motor skills. And then also in the performance area, the mind of the performer and the mind of the exercise participant in terms of both the performance implications and the health implications. And I'll just highlight very briefly some examples of the research so you get an idea of what the activities involve. So the professors in biomechanics look at motion analysis, the quality of motion. And the dysregulation of motion can lead to conditions like osteoarthritis. There's also the study of prosthetics and how they affect ambulation or gait, and the improvement in those appliances to improve the quality of life. And of course, with the elite athlete, it would be such factors as what promotes speed and highly skilled movement. And then there are individuals who study how practice is best done in order to improve skill. And that would range from activities of daily living to highly skillful athletic activities. And some of the professors are looking at the assistive devices like robotic assistants, which is probably going to become pervasive in our society, and how assistive devices can make movement and work more efficient. And so the man-machine interface is the term that's often used in the literature. And then finally, we have people looking at the brain during motor performance and the cost of those activities. And one, I think, good example is how experts, the task or the cost of the activity, flying an airplane, throwing a baseball, whatever it would be, moving around in one's home as an activity of daily living. We're able to measure the cost, and that can help to design everything from cockpits of airplanes to perhaps the design of homes in the future. And I'd especially like to point out the work of one of our professors who's looking at exercise and cognitive aging or dementia. And there's a great relationship there that's become firmly established in terms of the memory areas of the brain, particularly receive benefit when an individual engages in physical activity. So in essence, we look at the fundamental of human motion and both its health and its performance implications. By the way, I would also add too that as in the other areas, the group has been very successful with the competitive funding environment like the National Institutes of Health and the Department of Defense, et cetera. And so it's an active group with a large number of graduate students. Michael, back to you, unless you want me to continue on with the coal project.
Yeah, that'd be great. Go ahead and continue. It's exciting, and you've been a visionary in this project, so why don't you take it away?
Well, I'm very excited to update, and I'll try to do it briefly but informatively, on the Coal Fieldhouse project. This is something that's been percolating and developing on the campus since around 2010. And it began with the leadership, I think, of Dr. Lowe, who was very creative individual. And then the Empower Initiative, which some of you may know, which united the Baltimore campus and the College Park campus in collaborative research. And then finally in 2014, when Maryland entered the Big Ten, there was a need for elevating the athletic facilities. So Dr. Pines refers to this as the perfect storm. And I would like to point out, just before I get into a quote from Dr. Pines and how this relates to the Department of Kinesiology, that I think there's a couple of folks on the call tonight, Dr. Hagberg and Dr. David Klosner, who were very much involved, both working with athletes scientifically on behalf of intercollegiate athletics, and then Dr. Klosner, who was a good comrade in arms as an advocate for the sports science and its positioning in coal. Now, as chair of the department before Dr. Brown became chair, I felt that if we were able to participate in this, that it would be a great benefit to our students as well as our faculty. And the first iteration of it, some of you may know from advanced material and the internet and newspapers, was called the Center for Sports Medicine, Health, and Human Performance. But then it went through various dynamic changes, and many of you may now have heard of an element of the Coal Fieldhouse project, which is called Jones Hill House. And let me just read a quote to you, and then I'll bring it to the implications for kinesiology. This was on September 3rd of last year, 2021, when Jones Hill Athletic Complex, which is a major part of the coal project, was open. And Dr. Pines, I quote him as saying, "Today we celebrate the opening of Jones Hill House, a home for Maryland football, but this is just the first stage in the realization for our vision for Coal Fieldhouse. Before we are done, this facility will be part of an interconnected and interdisciplinary complex that will include an entrepreneurship center for all Maryland students and a research institute that will study brain and behavior." Now, here's the kicker. Together, these elements will create a living laboratory where the disciplines of sports medicine, kinesiology, health and human performance, and others all come together to discover new knowledge and improve human lives. And what I can tell you right now is the university has commissioned a plan to study a wing in the coal complex called the Health and Human Sciences Complex. And that Health and Human Sciences Complex, which would be highly integrated with the athletics element, would contain the Department of Kinesiology with its laboratories, classrooms, and offices, the Brain Behavior Institute, an element of human development department on this campus with the study of children, and an academy for innovation and entrepreneurship, as well as a general area where all kinds of partnerships from sociology to engineering to medicine could occur. And I'll simply mention that I think that this would be a great new chapter for the Department of Kinesiology because it would extend our network of expertise that would come together studying human movement and human performance, and our students would directly benefit from it. And what's interesting, I'll close with this, it's almost like we're coming home to our roots. Some of you who know the long history of our department know that at one point we were in Cole Fieldhouse, and then we moved over to the present building in the 1970s. And so here we'll be coming full circle, and I think becoming a very central part of an important development on this campus. Michael, back to you.
Thank you so much, Brad. That's a very exciting, very exciting. Okay, so we'll move from research and we'll move into educational impact. And I'll just share just a bit of information with you first before I highlight a couple of programs. So, you know, we were digging into the data a little bit this week, and at the university level, the number of registered majors has been pretty flat over the years. However, as far as the Department of Kinesiology goes, since 2018, there's been a slight decrease in the number of applications and the percentage of students who are admitted and also enrolled. So right now we are working every day to examine these trends and also our programs, and coming up with innovative ways to hopefully reverse this trend and start to get more students into our programs. So two things that I'm really, really proud of these people put together these programs, and it's really helping with our educational goals and recruiting of students and things like that. The first one is the Whitlock Endow Kinesiology Scholarship Award. This is really important because it helps our transfer students. So each spring, incoming transfer students who earned an associate's degree at a Maryland community college, these students are highly recognized for their academic excellence, their potential for future leadership in kinesiology, and also a commitment to research in kinesiology. So this is awesome. It helps us with our transfer students. As always, we thank Dr. Jane Clark and Jill Whitall for their generosity in supporting this very important endowment. The next program is near and dear to my heart. This is Dr. James Hagberg's STAR ADAPT program. This is a these are NIH funded programs. The first one is the University of Maryland School of Public Health Summer Training Research, or STAR program. And the reason it's near and dear to my heart is because it's to provide traditionally underrepresented and disadvantaged undergraduate students with 2 consecutive summers. These are 10 weeks of summer research training and career development. So the STAR program is focusing on increasing the pool of doctoral degrees and doctoral degree applicants from these underrepresented groups. And the focus is on getting them into biomedical and behavioral sciences, all around preventing and treating cardiovascular disease. So that's just awesome. And then the ADAPT program is very similar to that in structure. The main difference is that its research focuses on aging and aging-related biomedical sciences. So, you know, it's so important to increase the pool of underrepresented people from underrepresented groups to go on into the biomedical sciences and get those PhDs so that they can then be the new leaders in our field. Okay, so that's that. And so now let's talk a little bit about some of the community partnerships that we have here. And then I have two examples that I mentioned briefly, but I want to just expand on them just a little bit more here. So we collaborate with communities and research and education to provide students with applied learning experiences. And that's so important. Students really are asking for applied and experiential learning these days. So the first one I mentioned, right, was Girls on the Run. So this has been a brainchild of one of our fabulous advisors, Lindsay Winter. She's been working to form a collaboration with Girls on the Run DC. Girls on the Run DC has been established, and it's been shown that it inspires girls in 3rd through 8th grade across DC and Prince George's County to become healthy, joyful, and confident. There's been some research on this program, and the studies show that Girls on the Run DC makes a stronger impact than organized sports and even physical education programs in teaching life skills like managing their emotions, resolving conflict, helping others, and even making intentional decisions. These are all very important at that age. Another good thing about this is all the girls are able to participate regardless of their family's financial status through our scholarship program. And then the icing on top of the cake is that Lindsay has created a course here that our students can enroll in, work with these girls, but also gain valuable experiential learning opportunities. So this is just, it's like fantastic stuff. So thank you, Lindsay. The exercises medicine on campus, just real quick. This will expand our reach on campus. And like I said, this is where ACSM really is trying to promote universities and colleges as they promote physical activity as a vital sign of health across the campus. So there's a whole program that is onboarded from the American College of Sports Medicine, and it encourages faculty, staff, and students to work together to improve health and the well-being of our campus community. And I'll end this section with this. So the department continues to take advantage of its surroundings. We're in a great place, and we form impressive relationships. We have an important role in Brain Behavior Institute, as Dr. Hatfield mentioned. And one of our faculty members is even on the steering committee there, so we have some reach there. We also have faculty doing work in the area of robotics, as was mentioned, and we have strong campus connections there. We even have some faculty working with the Athletic Council, which has started a new committee on sport research and innovation. So we are definitely reaching out into the community, and we hope to increase our impact into the community. Okay, at this point, it is breakout room time, I think. Yes, that's it. So go ahead and work your magic there.
So this is Jennifer speaking, and I just wanted to tell folks that the breakout rooms are open, and hopefully through your Zoom functions, they're labeled research and education. You can find that through your Zoom controls and begin to move into those rooms, which will be open until 5 to the hour 8:55. Thank you in advance to our moderators who are going to help lead some discussions with everybody there.
guess everyone is back here. Okay, we are all back. So at this point, I'm wondering if,
Dr. Brown, I actually don't think the other room is back.
oh, okay.
Everyone, I don't think everyone's back.
Okay, thank you. I can't see everybody there.
Unless they are, yeah, here they come.
All right, excellent. Let's see. They all back? All right, excellent. Okay, so at this point in time, we are going to have the moderators, maybe if they have something that they would like to share and report out to the greater group, that would be good. We can start with, I guess we'll start with education breakout room.
And that was Andrea and I chaperoned that one. And we were lucky enough to have a new transfer student in our group who's learned about one of our new classes tied to one of our new initiatives. So talk about hot off the press, and that's terrific. And we had a couple of alumni, and it was nice to reconnect with them. And our alumni appeared to be really excited about some of these community connections. So we need to make sure that we get the information pushed out to them, as we have done, but to make sure that we've got all of our little communication mechanisms through LinkedIn and Instagram and all the things that I don't know how to do. And we have people for that. So great. We're in good shape with the education group.
Excellent. Thanks, Joe. That was awesome. The research breakout room.
Right, I think I was going to report out on that. So yeah, we had some alum as well in our group, and so it was nice to connect with them. And some of the I guess the two big ideas or areas that were identified as potential avenues of research and addressing the grand challenges was around the built environment and creating inviting physical activity spaces. And then the other was around a connection with, I think it was FEMA, the DOD, and working on getting more physical education and even mandatory physical education in the schools. So those were the two main things we talked about. But if I'm misrepresenting anything, please, someone in the group, feel free to correct me.
All right, thank you so much, Shannon. Okay, well, that brings us almost to the end here, but it's my last time with you. So again, thank you for your time, your attention, your thoughtfulness. I think it's really important for us to connect on a regular basis. I was just talking to a faculty member today about that. So we hope to step up that game as well. So thanks again, much appreciated. I'm going to turn this over to Jennifer, and she will finish with some closing remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Brown, and thank you to everybody, the welcome home from the department, faculty and staff, all of you who took time out at night outside of the normal working hours to be with us and to help create such a warm sense of community. My name is Jennifer Schwartz. I'm Assistant Dean for Development in the School of Public Health. And I just wanted to put these items up on a final slide to encourage all of our alums, our future alums, current students, everybody who is connected with the department to keep in touch with us so we can keep in touch with you. There is a form that you can quickly update when you change jobs or move so that we make sure that you get our notices about events like this. As previously mentioned, Joe stole my talking point about following us on social media. The department as well as the school have Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook pages, etc. Every year we at UMD have Giving Day, and the department is featured with many of the programs and funds that you heard Dr. Brown speaking about scholarships, student activities. All of this is a big part of Giving Day, which is an opportunity to really show your support for alma mater. Our alumni network has fantastic programs, including a mentoring program that matches alums with undergrads who are seeking career guidance and life guidance. It's really rewarding. There's a book club, there's panel discussions like one that Michael Brown moderated on for the recent Black Alumni Weekend. Things like that are happening monthly, sometimes even weekly throughout the year through our SPH Alumni Network. There's opportunities, as mentioned, to volunteer, mentor, and guest instruct, reaching back to your faculty and seeing how you might participate in courses. The Terrapins Connect program, which is a UMD Alumni Association program, is an online matching program for mentoring of current students. And we have some fantastic awards for our alumni, including by the Alumni Network itself, especially focusing on young alums, as well as those who might be further along in their careers. So we have information about all of that. And if you have any questions, please reach out to myself and any of the people who are on this Zoom tonight. And thank you very much. We're doing our best to stay on schedule. And I have to give a shout out to everybody because we had a lot of speakers and we did a great job with that tonight. So we want to wish you well and stay in touch. Thank you so much.